Hello, lovelies! Da-da-da-da. It's time to open our box. I'm so excited for this one. So you should already have your confidence kit, and I'm really excited to share this one. This one, like all of them, are special, but this one's extra special, especially because it helps to address the things along self-trust and understanding the things in which we need in order to show up and be who we need to be. So we're going to unbox the box. So the very first thing in your kit that jumps out, you obviously have your packaging slip, but then you also have your crystal grid. And this time it was really interesting because I had just finished painting the elephant and I had a labradorite heart, which helps with intuition. And it actually was sitting on the stand and I went, you know, it'd be really funny is if I put it here. And it was like, oh, we're painting a heart now. So that's going to be the focus of the third eye, and we'll get a little bit more into that when we do our crystal grid. But the elephant, I wanted to talk specifically about the elephant itself. The spirit medicine around the elephant is about being that path clearer. Did you know that in the jungle, the other animals don't get to ever drink or go to water until the elephant clears the path? Because during the season, it grows so thick with foliage and leaves that the other animals literally cannot get to their water sources until the elephants come through and they trample through. So we're not saying bulldoze people, absolutely not, but making your way, setting your path, creating that set intention of what you desire and setting your mind to it, and then going forward with that trust that you're going to be carried through in order to get what you desire. It also tunes into that self-trust of when something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. And so allowing yourself to say, am I feeling this because I'm feeling fear? Or am I feeling this because I'm feeling it's a no? The elephant is a lot about service-based and how you show up in the world and how you give to other people. You'll also notice it's a square or diamond with all 4 directions on it as well. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we do our actual crystal grid. So the next thing in our box is our tarot card. Da-da-da-da. And it is our 6 of Wands, and you will see that Rick has his amazing meditation that goes along with this. So I will let him explain all the delicious magic around that. The next thing in our box is our mirror. We're going to be doing a lot of work around these and tuning into seeing what's on the other side. So you can hang it up and have it as a decor, but it's most important to do our ceremony work with. So stay tuned for that on the mirror. The next thing in your box, you're going to notice this big fat package of herbs. And we're doing what's called a steam ceremony where you're going to actually place them in water and you will breathe in the steam from the herbs. So that will open up all of the pathways within your sinuses and in your body, but also the pathways in who you want to be, what you're creating, where are you moving forward? What is it that we're carrying that confidence to? So it smells amazing too. And I love on the front, it has cute little information and it talks about having it in the bath. You can put it in the bath, but we're going to do kind of a little bit of our own mix with that. So it helps to release a lot of the blocks that we hold, especially here in our focus. So yay for clarity. Okay. So the next item in here is our eagle feather. And this is imitation, just so you know. It's not legal for most of us to have eagle feathers. So I'm like, my daughter has one, but she's Native American, so she's allowed to. And so this one, it's mostly about the symbology, and that's what we want to honor. And so the symbology of the eagle is about rising above. It's about getting, the higher you get and the higher you rise to see that perspective, the more you're going to be able to assess and see what needs need to be met. You can see what needs to be done, where you can serve and be there. It helps you to see those opportunities. We love opportunities to rise above. It also ties in with, if you think of the eagle is the bird that flies the highest, right? And so it's symbolic, especially the bald eagle is symbolic for creating that duality between worlds where we're connecting with our spirit and our intuition, but also with our messy human selves and bridging that gap and bringing it in. So that is our beautiful eagle feather. Da, 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 da. Okay. The next item in here, this one might have come as a surprise to some of you if you haven't been following my social media and seeing kind of what I do on a regular basis. You're going to notice you got these kind of interesting items. This is your rattle kit, and it has a stick, and you will make a wonderful rattle. Da-da-da. So there is a video on how to do that. You'll notice that there's a baggie of crystals in there. These are all to go inside your rattle. You have crystals for each chakra plus some. And there's also 3 beans. And I'll talk about this in the rattle making. There's a reason for that. There's a seashell and there's also some sage in there as well. And you can either put that in your rattle or you can burn it as part of your rattle or maybe some of both. So make sure you watch the rattle making video on that. It does take a couple of days to make your rattle, so it's not something that's going to be made all at once. But just be mindful if you happen to see stones or pebbles as you're walking around, because you'll want to add more than just this inside your rattle, but it's meant to be you creating those things and seeing those things around you and taking on that empowerment of choosing what goes in. And you're welcome to keep any of these crystals outside your rattle if you choose that fits you better. I promise I don't mind. Okay, so the next thing I want to show is the copal incense. Da 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 da. So these are incense sticks. They're a little bit easier to burn than the little stone copal if you're used to those. So this is our purification. So what it does is it helps not just purify our minds and our energies, but also helps to clear out some of the clutter so we can get in some of those divine downloads and intuition. A lot of times we get stuck in stagnancy, or even we have objects that hold an energetic charge. Like if you've ever loaned something out, when you get it back, you're like, this feels funny. I'm not so sure I want it. You can smudge it with some copal. So it cleanses objects, cleanses spaces, opens up lots of areas, creates positive change. We're all about opening that path and creating the change to see what's in there. It also helps with union between the spirit world and the physical world. So drawing in that help, drawing in that support. Sometimes the reason we are able to feel confident is because we know we're supported. We know we're on our path. We know who we are. We have that wisdom and that knowledge. And so it pulls in a lot of that wisdom and knowledge. It helps to create a clear conduit when we're channeling and we're connecting with the divine. So yay for copal. Okay. The next thing, if I can get it out of my kit, it's so big, is our mala. So it was interesting because we were trying to debate. We're like, we know that there has to be turquoise in here. And then I saw rosewood and I said, I don't remember if I said it or Frick said it, or it was probably mutual. Most of the stuff is mutual. When I say we, it's both of us, or when I say me, it's usually both of us. But we were like, oh my goodness, that's it. Because we're going to use this in a meditation. There's 108 beads on here. And it is turquoise. And then the brown wood is rosewood. And there's your turquoise. And then the dark red beads there, that's carnelian. So the rosewood is really interesting because rosewood ties in with integrity, it supports strength, sensitivity. It also helps with protection. So it's interesting because it's one of the few woods that's both masculine and feminine encouraging. So it encourages the feminine to rise up and the masculine to protect and support and nurture as well. So if you're struggling, kind of feeling wonky, like your masculine's taking over or your feminine's taking over too much, it can help to balance those out. And when I say masculine, feminine, I don't mean male or female. It has nothing to do with gender because we all have all. And the idea is to be balanced with them and be able to pull that masculine when we need to take action, or pull the feminine when we need to slow down and nurture ourselves and make sure we're doing that self-care. This also helps with balance. It helps a lot to think of the rosewood as you would like a rose and thorns versus the sweet flowers, right? You have the feistiness and the protection, but then you also have the sweetness and the softness and the delicate. And so understanding that duality with this. So when you see it, you can think, oh, duality, I like it. And you can rub the beads and create the essence of duality. And Native Americans, are among many cultures, believe that trees are considered the standing people. So there are ancient wise ones that we can go to for grounding and stability and that unspoken wisdom. And so allowing yourself to connect with that standing tree energy of this rosewood will definitely serve you well. Especially when it comes to knowing who you are and standing in your power and speaking in your strength. That's all part of having that deep confidence that builds up. They also help with circulation and manifestation. The rosewood is amazing, and it's a lot of the heart-centered space. So when people would struggle with heartache or heart ailment, they would have them even literally just go and touch a tree and lay their heart on the tree. And just holding it and embracing it. So you can absolutely wear this one around your heart space. And that would be, it actually goes with my outfit. And that will be really beneficial for you, is to have it there on that heart-centered space. Okay, so then also on here is the turquoise. And if you're not familiar with turquoise, I love turquoise. Obviously, I wear it almost every single day. And turquoise is our best friend because it's also protective, and it also helps with those mood swings. Yes. Anytime you're experiencing growth and you're moving forward and you're stepping outside of what your normal was, you can sometimes experience huge mood swings that seem like you're just nuts. And it's not that you're nuts. It's that you're doing things you've never done before. So you're going to encounter internal blocks you've never experienced before. You're going to encounter new challenges you've never experienced before. And so turquoise definitely helps to open up some of those blocks and some of those challenges. They also help with depression, with exhaustion. Turquoise really helps to connect us to that self-realization of what's going on inside, what's going on outside, what actions do we need to take, what problem-solving skills or ideas can we kick in. And I do recommend when you wear your mullet, it's great to wear it, but it's also great to use it. So as you use it, you're going to actually, we'll do this in a meditation, but they're ideal for mantras. So you pick a statement and you say the statement for each bead, and you roll your fingers for each bead as you say it, because words are like magical spells, casting what we desire out into the universe and calling it back to us, or manifestation. You know, what you speak of, you will bring. And so going through and saying a mantra, like, I love when I feel confident. I love feeling confident. I love feeling confident. And even just going through, like, right before something stressful, it can help to remove that stress. You're bonding with the wood, you're bonding with the turquoise. Or if you've got a problem that you can't figure out, you can go through and ask for support. Like, I love when I figure this out. I love how good it's going to feel to figure this out. I love feeling clarity. Ooh, that's a better one. I love feeling clarity. And you'll go through. Then when you get to the turquoise, you can challenge yourself, because there's not very many. Okay. So there's only 6 on here. So you can challenge yourself to come up with one solution, one idea. What is the first thought that popped in your head that you've been struggling with? So you start with a question, then you go through and say a statement to create a positive emotion that gets you out of your head. So let's say my question is, I don't know if I should, I'll use something from my own life because that's easy. I don't know if I should push next month and launch this new book that's been sitting on my shelf for 12 years, or if I should launch my retreats. Both are really great. Both require a lot of time. So that is my challenge. So now I'm going to go through. I love feeling clarity. I love knowing what the right path is. I love feeling clarity. I love knowing my wisdom. I love feeling clarity. I love receiving enlightenment. I love receiving desires. And I love being able to enjoy knowing what the path is. See how all of these are statements that are like, yes, I do love that. I do love that. I'm not fixing anything. I'm just reminding myself of how good it feels when I let myself let it be fixed. And then I'm going to get to the turquoise, and I didn't forget about the other beads. I'll talk about those in a second. And then I get to the turquoise and offer solution. Okay, what if I launch the book first and then I delegate some of the retreat stuff to my assistant? And then I'll go through, what if I included the book as part of the retreat? Ooh. And then I go to the next one. So thinking of all of these ideas and allowing yourself to get that mental clarity so the ideas can flow. And then we come to the bright red crystals in here. And this is carnelian. So carnelian is one of the few crystals that actually just loves being touched. You cleanse it by touching it. It just loves human contact. It will warm up. It will feel really good. And so I recommend when you get to those ones, what's something that can give to you? So what is something amazing that you will receive out of your struggle? So I will receive out of my struggle money. I will receive money. Money's always great. I will also receive getting more clarity and free time because I will be completing a project, and it'll feel so good to complete a project and have my words out there for the world to enjoy and savor. and I don't have to have the guilt of not getting it done and dying before it's ever done. So whatever that giving to yourself, or maybe it is like, you know what, I'm going to give to myself when I finish. I will take a delicious, luxurious bath with all of my beautiful herbs and create some more clarity. Yes, I will give to myself. So now how am I going to do it? What's that idea or solution or thought? What if, and then fill in the blank. Okay, so that's a lot of how to handle that. Carnelian is also very grounding. It's the lower chakras. It reminds us to nurture ourselves and give to ourselves. So you have the rosewood, which helps for balance, the turquoise, which helps for knowing and protection, and then the carnelian, which supports and nurtures and reminds us to give to ourselves as well. So that is your beautiful mala. I love it. Okay, and maybe keep it somewhere handy. On your neck is great, and then you'll remember the things. And 108 is a lot, but if you talk fast like me, it's just a few minutes. It's not that big of a deal. You can also use it with different types of mantras, anything in your meditation. And it's nice because you can recite the same thing and you don't have to count. So it frees up more space in the mind because you're not counting, oh, that's number 1, that's number 2. You're actually able to do it a lot. And especially sometimes I'll use a mala when I'm clearing and doing energy work. And so I will say like, I release this, I release this, I release this, I release this, I release it, I release it, I release it, I release it, and just allowing it to get deeper and deeper. And so especially if one of your spiritual strengths is the throat chakra, is speaking or singing, or like you voice out problems, or you give somebody advice and you don't know where it came from, then usually if you need to release something, you need to speak it out, and that helps to speak that out without monopolizing anybody else's poor time listening to you vent about your problems and try and fix them, because most people try and fix them. Okay, so that's our mala. Okay, let's look at our crystals now. So the first one that I'm going to highlight is Sodalite. It's the bright blue one with some white. They do look quite different. Some of them have stripes, some of them have speckles. So this is tumbled Sodalite. Sodalite is really good for the throat chakra. Speaking of speaking. It also helps to calm panic attacks. It's an immune booster, so builds up those cells. It's a good one to carry on you. It's good for the body. It helps with the electromagnetic energy stuff that we get from the pollution that we get. It helps to purify it. So I usually keep it in my pocket or in my bra. That a lot of times will help. Also, get a little bit better light there. Also, it helps with logic and your intuition, and it helps to pull the higher mind down into the physical self. So receiving information, receiving your own guidance, understanding the path to take, enhancing your meditation. It's really great for that to use in your meditations. So it is one of my favorites, and it does heal the throat chakra. You can also run it along the back of the neck, and it's very supportive for that portal that goes in back. So that's your Sodalite. Okay, and then the next one I'm going to highlight is emerald. So the emeralds, they all look a little bit different. So the Sodalite is tumbled, that's why it's nice and smooth, where the emerald is just raw. So they do look a little bit different. Each one is its own uniqueness. You can see this one has some sparkly. So emerald, you don't want to wear all the time. It's really good when you're working with it, but it can trigger a lot of negative emotions. So like if you need to be positive one day, it's probably not the day to dive in and pull that crap out. So there's your warning. It's not one that you carry with you all the time. It's one that you use for its purpose. So it's really great to hold in your hands, or it's really great to hold in the heart. It helps to heal that heart chakra so that you're moving forward with your purpose with heart focus versus mind focus. Oh, the kitty's going to join us. Hey, Maggie. Oh, she's just going to wander. Cute photo bomber. Oh, there she is on the other side. Maggie. Squirrel, kitten. Well, there's our new kitty. So the emerald, back to our emerald, it encourages cooperation and partnerships. So when you have to bring teams together, you have to do group work. Emerald is going to be really great for that. It's also really great for mental attunement. And so mental attunement is pulling in your mind space. She's just so curious. She's not supposed to be in here. So it's pulling in She's so cute. She's distracting me. And I'll still put this in because I know somebody's enjoying it. But it helps to create that mind clarity. And so balancing out the body and mind so that everything matches each other. So we're on the direction, we're on the path, and our whole body's one. Also, it helps with creating strength of character and strength to overcome all challenges. So if you've had some setbacks in the past, now is a good time to utilize your emerald, even rolling it in your hands right before you work with your hands. A lot of times I'll do that when I'm making drums. It also helps with infinite patience, especially patience with yourself. And I'm just going to reiterate, like if you have group projects and you're relying on somebody else, this is a really, 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 really good one to keep around because we need patience. It also helps with success in love. So if you are trying to build up that confidence to attract a life partner or a love, or even just, you know, a lover for a moment, it helps to increase that sense of self and understanding that attraction and that drawing in and that deeper, healthier space of love, not the toxic stuff. We don't want that. We don't invite that in. It also helps with the inner knowing, and also the gathering of generational and ancestral wisdom. So it's a really amazing stone, and I actually prefer seeing it raw to seeing it polished. Don't you? Like, oh. I always think of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz and the Emerald City, like this whole city that she's going to seek wisdom and how to get home and help, and everybody wants something. It's emerald. Okay, just pointing that out. Movies have so much truth to them. Okay, and then the last thing in our kit, this is one that we had planned a little bit different. We had planned to put in blue kyanite, and when I went to the wholesaler to get it, I saw black, and I was like, okay, this doesn't really match, but whoa. And I sent it to Rick, and he was like, whoa. And so you get black kyanite. And these are all just a little bit different, but each one was handpicked and each one was muscle tested for your kit, for you specifically. So every item in the kit, like I always test the kits, and it's funny, sometimes it's the one like all the way on the bottom and I have to like go through all of them. But each of them are selected just for you. So hopefully you love them all. So kyanite, this one is nice because you don't ever have to cleanse it. It cleanses itself because it doesn't hold anything. So it's a mover and it moves stuff. So it helps with a lot of shadow work. You don't have to smudge it. If somebody touches it, it's already in and out. And it's interesting because that's kind of what we all want to be, right? We want to take other people's stuff, and when it hits us, we just want to go right through. We don't want to hold on to it. So it's definitely a teaching stone for that. It also helps with psychic abilities and intuition. It helps to understand the karma we're accountable for, and more importantly, the one that we're not. A lot of times we'll take on things where we think, you know, oh, if something bad happens, it was just destiny and the doom of the universe. Well, sometimes it's karma and sometimes it's our own doing. And so it brings that awareness of what we're actually creating. And so I love it. And it helps with all of the timelines. And I actually, when I use it, I know this is weird, but I put it along my meridian of my head. So this bar right here that runs down. And sometimes I'll just roll it and I'll ask, like, allow me to see the wisdom. It gets caught in my hair though, so I'm not gonna do it right now. But I'm like, you can put like a cloth on top if you have like really easily tangled hair like I do, because there are a lot of little nooks and crannies. So if you put like a scarf on or something, then you can roll it, or even just hover it above, or put like your thumb in between. I think that's what I usually do, is I put my thumb in between. And so that way it's not like on my head, but the connection is still there with my body. And so that's going to help a lot. It's also going to help with pulling more of that light to the physical. So there's two crystals in here that do that, the Sodalite and then this Kyanite. And then also we have other things that do it as well that I mentioned. So lots of like pulling the light down into this physical form. And so this is going to help with that. Also helps to dispel illusions. So when we think things are one way, we're not seeing a clear reality. So it helps us to see more clearly, think more clearly, and also letting go of like the things we think about ourselves that aren't even true, because there's a lot of those, or the things we think about other people that aren't true, or the things that we think people are thinking about us that we think they're thinking that they're not even thinking. all of that. This helps with that. You can even place it just here over your third eye if you're feeling like you need to see through some BS. That's a really good stone to put there. Helps you to see through all the crap. I love it. Okay, so that is everything in your kit. I am so grateful that you chose to get your kit and move forward towards confidence. They're all just so very, very, very epic. So make sure you watch the meditations, and we're breaking them down into smaller little snippets so that you can get your rattle made, you can do your mirror work, and get your herbs and your crystal grid all set up. So happy creating confidence this month, lovelies. Enjoy!